being an entrepreneur is controlling your own time. And if you can control your own time, you control your own destiny. And if you can control that, then you can make as much money as you can.
Have you ever wondered what is it like to be an entrepreneur, or maybe more specifically a real estate agent? Well, today I have a treat for you. I have Renat Mataev, luxury real estate broker, 25 years in the business, specializing in the Toronto and South Florida markets, rated one of the top 100 real estate teams in Canada. Welcome, Renat.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Great, it's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. So the first question I have for you is, what led you to follow this journey? What led you to this path of becoming a real estate agent?
Take you back when I was a little bit younger with some hair. I was about 17 years old, right before turning 18. I used to work at this health club in Toronto, JCC, and I was always fascinated by real estate. So I was reading this book that I bought from Home Depot for I think like $10. It was called The Fixer Upper for Dummies. And as I'm reading this book, a member from the club approached me and said, well, what are you reading over there? And I said, I'm just reading a book about real estate. I always wanted to buy, sell, flip real estate. And he's telling me, you know what? I just bought a house. Come over tomorrow. That's what I do. I'll teach you. And the next day was Sunday. I got up early, 8 a.m. I drove to his house. He handed me a bucket of sand and concrete. He said, I need my bathroom to be fixed, and for that I'm gonna pay $10 an hour or $11 an hour. Now, back in those days, $10 an hour was double minimum wage. So I was like, wow, not bad. So I spent 3 days in the bathroom in the basement trying to figure out how to put it together, and I was sweating and I was so upset, and I didn't want to give up. And 3 days later, somehow I built this bathroom for this gentleman. I went upstairs and I said, that's it, I quit. I'm not doing this anymore. This is not what I signed up for. And he says to me, this is your first lesson in real estate and in life. Wherever you want to make money, you never work with your hands. Never. It doesn't matter the pay. It doesn't matter what it is. You never work with your hands, because your time is limited, and the amount of money that you can make with your hands is limited during that time. And that was incredible, because it made me realize that I just spent 3 days there and I probably made $300, which at that time was a lot of money. But during that time, if I had learned the skills of sales, I would have made more money. So he took me into his car, and it was a beautiful area in Forest Hill. At that time, homes there were $1 million, when $1 million was just unheard of. Today, prices they're in the $10 million. And I'm so proud of it, because today I currently sell these houses. So he gave me maybe, I think, like 20, 30 envelopes. And in these envelopes, there was a note on this letter saying, I'm so-and-so, and I live with my family, with my wife and my daughter in this subdivision, and I'm looking to buy a new house. If you're interested in selling, please call me. And I was so shy. I'm like, oh my God, how? He's like, you have to go to every door until you finish the entire box of these letters. And he must have had maybe 200 of them, of these envelopes. So I think he was preparing me for that. And I went door to door, and I was so scared. And every time I, reached to knock on the door, I was like shaking, and I could feel that my knees are shaking. I'm like, oh, it's like, and he didn't come with me. He was in the car following me, and he was like cheering, like, you can do it. This is where the money is. The first 10 doors were hard. The second 10 doors was hard. But I did this for the entire summer. Like, I didn't have a license at the time, and I believe you don't need a license if you want to buy a house for yourself. So anybody can door knock on anybody and saying, I want to buy a house. And that was his thing. We wanted to buy a house for ourselves. And I remember a couple of months later, I got my real estate license, and I realized that really being an entrepreneur is controlling your own time. And if you can control your own time, you control your own destiny. And if you can control that, then you can make as much money as you can. I love real estate. I love talking to people, and it's naturally where I went.
Holy cow. So you started off flipping houses? Is that what I'm hearing?
So I started off working for a real estate broker who was flipping houses. So I was door knocking for him. I wasn't flipping anything. I was 18 years old when I got my license. I learned the biggest skill that I could possibly learn is to talk to people. In real estate and in any other business, really, the more people you talk to, the more successful you become.
I think that's a big lesson, and it's one of those tough things to kind of learn, because getting out of your comfort zone and door knocking, for example, it sounds simple enough, but if you've actually tried it, like you have, you said the first 10 doors were it's really hard. You feel like your knees were shaking and all of that, right? So I think it's one of those things that it seems easier, but then when you actually do it. So I guess what helped you to overcome that initial fear of maybe whatever it is, rejection or whatever you thought would happen if you went door knocking?
Before you start anything, door knocking on any task, if you envision yourself doing it and done it, before you even do it, it helps. So I try to envision myself completing it and coming out at the end of the day with 10 leads, 20 leads. By the end of it was in the summer. So by the end of the summer, if I could door knock 1,000 doors and I could meet, 400 people, and I can get 100 emails, 100 phone numbers, that to me is a big accomplishment. And before I would go in and door knock, even today when I go door knocking, like the first 5 to 10 houses, I'm like, it's hard.
Really?
When I take like my kids to the park, like right now I'm in Florida, it's beautiful, the weather is 30 degrees. So when I take them after school, after daycare, when I take them to the playground, I tell them, you gotta go make friends. And at the end of the day, whoever makes the most friends, I have 2 girls that are 5 and 4. At the end of the day, whoever makes the most friends wins or get a candy or something. So their fear of meeting and talking to people starting to disappear. And I think that's the biggest problem with any entrepreneur and any salesperson, because we're not born with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've trained a lot of agents. I talked to a lot of agents, and everyone is telling me, oh, I'm not a salesman. I'm not born with it. Nobody's born with it. Not you, not I, nobody. It's something that anybody can learn and can overcome. So even today, like in Florida, I go door knocking from time to time because that's what I do. Even it's a new market, and I still have that fear for the first 10 doors. But if once you start doing it, you will not stop, because it gives you sort of like a rush, like an adrenaline rush. It gives you like a boost of energy.
You talked about how when you first started your journey, you were making like $10 an hour or something like that to help your broker friend to fix up this place, right? As your first lesson. So fast forward 25 years later to today, thinking back on that experience, what are some of the biggest deals or maybe the biggest years you've had in the business? And what do you think contributed to that success?
I'll give you a sort of an overview of how the real estate commission works. So the real estate agents get paid commission based on the volume that they sell. So we look at volume of a year. I sell around 50 million to 100 million on average a year. So the commission is about, in Canada, it's 2.5% to 3%. When you go higher, it usually drops. It could be 1%, it could be 1.5%. So you can do the math, at $100 million volume at 2.5%, you're at $2.5 million commissions for the year. But on top of that, you have to subtract all the fees and all the expenses, all the commissions that you pay out to other agents, that you have secretaries, you have office expenses, and of course we can't forget our biggest partner, the CRA.
Yes.
Put out there to get as much as they can, which is, it's good because it supports our economy and it's helps people need and provides, the services that we currently have. So the commission is very hard, but it's normal to achieve 10, 20 to 50 million years as a successful and active real estate agent.
And aside from the sales skills and maybe learning how to make friends, what do you think are some critical key skills that someone who is looking to do real estate would need to learn?
In real estate, you really need three things to be successful real estate agent, pretty much. Anybody can do it, whether you have the sales skills or you don't have the sales skills. Number one is to show up. You have to show up, and by showing up, you have to commit. If this is your neighborhood and you're door knocking there, you have to commit to do it every day. Because if you don't commit and you don't consistently do it, then doing it once a week or once a month is not going to make a difference. Number two, you actually have to do the action. It's not just showing up and, in the office. I see a lot of agents, they come to the office every day and they make no money. It's not just coming to those. You have to do actually something. You have to take the skills, the knowledge that we get is not power. The power comes from implementing this knowledge. The third thing is education. You have to take your life into your own hands, go to the library, which is what I did, go into the business section and sales section of that library and just read as many books as you can, and then go every day, you read a book, go the next day, implement it, or spend 2 hours educating yourself, 3 hours educating yourself, and then go implement the knowledge that you have. And I think by doing so, there's a concept which I try to teach all of my agents that work with me, is growth hacking. So growth hacking, which I try to teach all of my agents, is that you can take knowledge that somebody else has, implement it, or even join their team. If you have a team that's successful in your area, in your market, join that team, give them half of your commission or whatever they want, just so you can learn from them, stay with them for 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever is required, and suck in all the knowledge, be like a sponge, take everything and then go implement it and make it better. There is no new information, there is no new skills. Sales skills, marketing skills have been around for thousands of years. There's nothing new. They may be new terminology, but they also mean the same thing. So learn all of that, take the experience that already somebody else has built over the years and make it better.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you have a favorite book, whether it's sales, entrepreneurship, personality types? Is there a number one top book that you have all of your agents read?
There's really no number one book. I mean, one book that I always read and constantly read is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. All of his books are incredible. And at the end of the day, the way I see it is that it doesn't matter what you learn. The first thing that you have to do is believe in yourself. Believe that you can achieve it. Believe that you can do it. And if you believe it, then you will achieve it. And I think that's why I like that book the most, is because it allows you sort of to open up your mind and to say, it's like, think about it this way. If you stop and you give up, then you'll never be able to achieve the success. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be smooth and beautiful on the road to success. That doesn't work. Life doesn't work that way. But whatever you set yourself to do, as long as you continue and you truly believe it, I've seen a lot of people that they do something because they think they're going to make money. Money is not a motivator at the end of the day. But if it's something that you love and it's something that you're passionate about it, at the end of the day, real estate success comes to one thing. It's conversation with people that you don't know. And I think any sales comes to just one thing. It's the amount of conversations you have with people that you don't know.
Love it. Love it. What value did you get out of school when you were going through university or high school? Do you find that you did gain any skills one way or another at school?
School is amazing. I definitely think it's a bonus for anybody that goes to school, anybody that's fortunate enough to go to higher education. It's good because it may not give you the sales skills, but it opens up your mind. It broadens your horizons. Besides opening your mind, it teaches you how to research, teaches you how to sit down and how to do the work. And that's very important in any business. Research is very important in any business. But before I go meet a client, I research them. Before I go list a product, I research the product. Before I go into a new market, I research the market. And going to school, that allows me to sort of get it much faster. I know what I'm looking for. Instead of just sitting and figuring out where I'm going to start, I already know because I have that information previously. So one of the things, the benefits of real estate and any entrepreneurship is the skills that you have acquired prior to starting this career will help you and use them for the right purpose.
Right, implementation and taking action on those skills.
Correct.
The last question I have for you is, what is one piece of advice you'd give your younger self or to someone who's just getting started?
The advice that I would give somebody is and myself, if I had to start over again, is find a team that's successful, take and suck in as much information from them as you can. Use that information, go work with them, give them your half commission or whatever it is that they want just for that knowledge, because that knowledge is going to be invaluable for you for the future. And when I go and I meet agents and I teach agents, the information that I give them benefits them, but it also benefits me because it becomes fresh in my mind. I get motivated. Usually after giving a speech or after coaching agents, I go door knocking myself. I go cold calling myself. It motivates you. If you're new and you're starting in the business, find an agent that's dominant in your marketplace and meet with them. Interview a lot of agents. There's a lot of great companies. They don't have to be the brand name brokerages that surround it. There's a lot of mom and pop sort of shops. They're amazing. The very important thing is that you don't want to be just another number in that brokerage. You want to be the agent that they will take the time to devote to you and dedicate to you, to teach you and train you. And that's more important than anything else. Forget about the big brand stores. They're great. They're amazing. And if you can find one where a broker can devote their time and have an amazing training session, great. So find one of these. And if you can't find one, you can always reach out to me and I'll help you out.
Brilliant. And we'll have all of that information in the description, including phone numbers, websites, all that good stuff for all of you to check out if you would like. Now, without all of that said, thank you so much, Renat, for being here. It has been an absolute pleasure having you. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for sharing your insights. And to everyone watching, take care. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, let us know. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. And until next time, bye.